first of all, the fight is here in the UK. The fight is being distributed to 350 million possible viewers, okay, throughout the world. This fight is available in Canada, Brazil, Mexico, Bolivia, Chile, Ecuador, Paraguay, Peru, the Dominican Republic, Venezuela, the Philippines, Australia, Mongolia, India, New Zealand, the UAE, Abu Dhabi, and all of those countries down there. In the UK, the entire card will be on BT Sport, okay? The entire card, and the main event for the first time ever here will be on Channel 5, Open TV to everybody. The main event will be. We're in Ireland, Sweden, Denmark, Norway, Croatia, and Israel. All of those countries on television, 350 million homes. The Americans have to pay for it on Fight Pass. So the reason that this happened is we added 10 more fights. We went to Fox and tried to see if Fox would pick up these 10 more fights, and they didn't. So that's why we put these on Fight Pass. So
why didn't they pick it up?
Why what?
Why didn't Fox pick it up?
They don't, you know, they create their budgets at the beginning of the year, and it wasn't in their budget to pick up these fights. You know, not to say they don't pick them up later or whatever could happen with the deal, but that's what happened. So it's either nobody gets to see them or you put them on Fight Pass. So I hope that clears up some of the questions about Fight Pass. And like, this thing was only, and anybody else in the rest of the world and countries I didn't call, that I didn't say a minute ago, they get it on Fight Pass too. Which, of course, all these people in other countries are pumped to pay for it on Fight Pass, whereas the Americans who are used to getting these fights for free, some of them are a little twisted, but whatever. What are you going to do?
Differently in terms of getting the message out?
Good question. Yeah, I mean, we did. We had that press conference, but even at that press conference, you know, we talked about Fight Pass, what it is, what it's going to be, but I don't know if we really explained, you know, how many other countries this would be in on some form of television. And you might be right. You might be right. I don't remember, but you're probably right. So what else?
Yesterday it was announced that the UFC Fight Night will be on October 4th, the same day as the UFC Fight Night.
That is true, right?
On that event, are we going to see Alexander on that card? And is it going to be a title fight?
Yeah, I don't know about that. I mean, we got to see what happens tonight. Tomorrow night. I love your optimism in him winning tomorrow, but we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens with him, and obviously, you know, we'll start building that card as it gets closer.
But is it a possibility in the long-term way to see a title fight in Sweden?
Well, I was talking about that earlier today. Yeah, it's absolutely a possibility that we could do that fight in Sweden. I mean, it would be huge. But the problem is that the time difference between the United States and, you know, obviously when we do big fights like a Jones-Gustafsson type fight, we like to do it in Las Vegas. Vegas is always a great place for everybody to go. It's you know, it's a lot easier to do really big fights there. But again, I'm not ruling out that we wouldn't do it up in Sweden.
How do you think the fight goes tomorrow?
Both great stand-up guys, you know. Mantle was in the best shape I've ever seen him in today at the weigh-ins. He looked better than I've ever seen him. And Gustafsson is a beast, so we'll see. I don't know.
Did you miss London? Is it nice to be back to London?
It is nice to be back to London. It's nice to be back to London when there's good weather here. I like this. This is a serious change of pace.
What's taking you so long?
Well, we've been back here. I just haven't been back here. I've been a little busy.
That's what I'm talking about. Why didn't
you? Well, we're in this position now where last month I was on the road for like 3.5 weeks straight, you know, and then when you get back into the office, I have work to do too, you know, catching up with the team and doing things that need to be done. It's tougher for me to travel as much as I used to. You know, there was a point in time when I was like, I'm still going to every fight, and then we had 10 more fights, and then we had 10 more fights, and you know, it's tough to do.
What is it about the British fight fans here in the UK?
They're nuts!
Yeah, exactly.
I just told the fighters, I said, for those of you that have never fought in the UK, get ready, because tomorrow's going to be a fucking experience. It's awesome. The only thing I can compare it to is like Brazil. Brazil and the UK, if you've never seen a fight in Brazil or the UK, it's something you have to put on your bucket list because it's pretty special.
We're gonna have Canada match.
Canada's already mad at me. It's going to be a while before they're not mad at me.
Swedish fans are more champion every match. That's not a good thought too?
Huh?
Swedish fans.
Swedish, oh, here we go. Now I'm hurting everybody's feelings.
What about friends?
Yeah, we come to
What about
Paris.
friends not
Going even to Paris.
What about it?
Paris.
friends market? Is it
Yeah, that's, you know, we love that market. We want to go there. It's, you know, we're working it. We're massaging it. We're getting it done.
Last Friday, Joe Rogan said on an LA radio station that there is a big secret regarding the women's division. Can you shed any light on this and announce this big?
Joe Rogan blew my whole week with that interview, okay? I've been getting terrorized ever since he said it. There's nothing done as far as her next opponent is, and Kat Zingano has gone kind of radio silent on me. She's been through a lot of stuff, so I don't know where she's at or what she's thinking. But and Ronda's on vacation. She's like in Costa Rica or something. You know, she's off the grid for a while, so no big announcements yet.
So no Gina Carano, there's no Ronda Rousey, just Cyborg or Gina Carano in the works?
So when people started talking about the Gina Carano thing, I literally didn't even know how many fights we had Gina Carano under. You know, she's still under a strike force deal. So when everybody started calling me about this thing, I asked our legal team. She's got a 4-fight deal left with Strike Force, under a Strike Force contract.
Is it still valid?
Yeah. I mean, when you go on a hiatus, whether you're injured or semi-retired or whatever, yeah, you're still under contract. If you come back, you're still under contract with us. So she is under contract with us, but I have no plans right now.
If she wanted to fight for you in the UFC, would you make that fight happen?
If she wanted to fight in the UFC, yes, of course. If Gina Carano wanted to fight in the UFC, we would definitely do it.
Give her an immediate title shot. I think that's what
Is that the question? Guys, I have no idea. You know, I have literally avoided every conversation about this since Joe Rogan went on the radio show, and you know, speculation was Gina Carano, and you know.
Did you talk to Joe about it?
Yeah, I did. I said thanks, Joe.
Where's this from? Is this just Joe being Joe? And like,
no. Joe doesn't just go out and start making shit up, you know. But he never said Gina Carano was coming to the UFC. He never said that.
Have you spoken to Nate Diaz today?
I have not.
What did you make of his tweet?
What did he tweet?
He said that he basically wants to be released from his UFC contract.
Really? He hasn't called me. Is that how we do these things? You tweet?
Apparently so. But if he asks you, if he gets on the phone and calls you and asks you to release, would you release him?
The answer would be no. He just signed a new contract that he was happy with a month ago.
What do you make of behavior like that from fighters on Twitter when they say something controversial like that?
I don't think that's definitely not controversial for the Diaz brothers. That's called normal. You know, listen, I got 500 guys under contract, and there's always something. Every day when I wake up, there's something. The fallout has been zero. ESPN, as usual, you know, they like to embellish shit. First of all, we have 500 guys under contract. Now that this new thing has come in and TRT again, 5 guys can't take TRT out of 500. 5 guys had exemptions. They made it sound like it's rampant throughout the MMA world. You know what I mean? If 5 guys is rampant, what? Say it. Say it.
What's been? How about you and Vito specifically? You defended, you know, him being on it because it was legal, and there was some controversy over whether or not.
Well, here's the other thing. Here's the other thing ESPN said in their story. When Dana White was has talked about this in the past, he was flip-flopping. I never fucking flip-flopped. Ever did I flip-flop. I said right off the bat, I don't like it. We shouldn't use it. You know, I get it. It's science. I even said it's a loophole in the system. What happens is you have science goes out there and they create this thing where men, as they get older, get lower testosterone, and they can build your testosterone back up. But of course, you're always going to have fucking guys that, well, if this much brings me back to normal, where does this much take me? Right? That's always going to happen if you have a loophole like that in the system. I've been the guy who's been vocal about it and said it should go away, it should go away, it should go away. And if you don't think that had a huge impact on why it went away, you're crazy. So the whole ESPN, that thing was such a sham. That story was such a sham, and of course they ran the shit out of it, you know, because it's negative. Half of it wasn't true, or was just embellished. You know, it's rampant throughout MMA. 500 guys, five guys can't have exemptions now. That's rampant. So what were you asking me about Vitor?
I mean, do you think he'll be able to come back without it? First of all, I mean, he's one of the guys that said, I absolutely have to have this to be able to compete.
Right.
And then he falls off the card and says, okay, well, I'll just cycle off it and then I should be fine.
Yeah.
Chael also said that.
With endocrinologists, there are other ways of getting your testosterone.
Who knows what's going to happen? And at the end of the day, I don't give a shit. I don't care. If you need that stuff to perform and compete, you probably shouldn't perform or compete anymore. You know what I mean? Have I flip-flopped ever on my stance on this stuff? It goes away. I don't give a shit. Not my problem. And that fight, the whole Vitor thing, that battle's not my battle. That's Vitor's battle.
Vitor Belfort claimed that he still is next in middleweight. Is that true?
Claims that he's still what?
That he's next in
Sure, he's still in line. You know, that doesn't take him out of line at all. I mean, the fights he's won. And I can tell you this, Vitor Belfort, every time he was tested by us, was within his levels. He was where he was supposed to be. And I also told you guys that we were going to test the shit out of him, and we did. And he was always within his levels. I don't like cheating, whether it's with drugs. I don't like fighters getting ripped off by referees. I don't like fighters getting ripped off by judges. I don't like any of that. I like a fair playing field and everybody to, you know, everybody's given the opportunity and everything should be fair. That's why I've been screaming and yelling about athletic commissions getting the right judges and refs, and I could care less if TRT goes away. Government, you know, there's a loophole that was there. Now it's gone.
Were you taken by surprise when the assembly or the commission voted on the council voted that day?
Nope.
Did you know it was coming?
No, I didn't know it was coming, but I've been given a lot of heat. I've been talking about it nonstop, that it's bullshit and it should go away. So no, I wasn't shocked when they did it. And I'll tell you this too. You know, you guys have heard me rip Nevada many, many times. Nevada's done a fantastic job. You know, Cisco is really doing a great job over there right now, and all the other athletic commissioners. So I couldn't be happier with the commission now. I think they're doing a great job.
A few years ago, when you first bought Strikeforce, I remember you saying that you had big plans, and you couldn't reveal what those big plans were going to be because of what went down with the network. Now that that's settled in the whole Strikeforce deal and you know, being formed into the UFC, can you just give us some insight about what your original big plans were?
I have no clue. I don't even remember.
Oh, you remember that?
I don't even remember.
I remember that.
Yeah.
You said that you had some big plans for Strikeforce and what you were going to do with it.
We probably did it. We probably did something fabulous. It was great. I just don't remember it.
Dane, it seems like you take a real personal liking to Gunnar Nelson. He's been out in the UK 2 times. How excited are you to have him?
He's an exciting fighter, and the guy he's fighting is exciting too. That's going to be a great fight. Yeah, I like the kid. He's very talented. Fun to watch.
If Brad Pickett wins tomorrow, can he be next in line for a title shot with DJ?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can I ask you about London? It's 4 years since you've been back at this venue. You've been here a couple of days already, right? Have you noticed there's a difference here? Did you feel something different this time? You feel there's something shifting, there's something, the plates are moving.
This is what feels different right over here. Told you guys when we hired him what was going to happen. I told you this was the guy for the job, and he's done. Look at what he's delivered in the short time that he's been here. You know, we've had people over here for years that in the total amount of time that everybody who was here didn't do anything compared to what this man has done in a short amount of time. You know, how about this? How about tomorrow night, the main event is going to be on live open TV here. You know how huge that is? I mean, we had such a hard time trying to get a pay-per-view deal here. This guy gets it on free TV. The deal he just did down in UAE, the stuff he's doing in Europe right now. The guy's a rock star and has hit the ball out of the park.
If I said that the chess pieces feel in place now, would that be the right?
No doubt about it. He has lined this thing up to be a huge success now. This is what we've been waiting for since 2002. Everything we wanted to do since 2002, he has done. And how long have you been with us? In 17 months, that's what this guy has delivered.
I think the Channel 5 deal is probably the biggest news story in the UK for the UFC in the last couple of weeks. I was speaking to Gary about this just the other day. Just to give people perspective of what a big deal this is. Your old friend Tyson Fury, when his boxing fights air on Channel 5, he gets in the region of 2 million viewers. So, what could the UFC potentially do on Channel 5?
That's awesome. I don't know. We're going to find out. I hope we do Tyson Fury numbers or more. I don't know. I don't know what the potential is, but I know this. Every country we've gone into, when we've been able to secure a free TV deal, it's been a home run.
But surely the double-pronged attack is the fact you've got a subscription deal with one channel and the terrestrial network as well. Now both together.
Hey, we couldn't get a television deal here. Now we got two. It's amazing. One on free TV and the other one on BT. You can watch the whole card on BT. You can watch, the main event on both.
There's no debate tomorrow. If Alexander wins, he's getting a title shot. There's no chance that Cormier can sneak in there.
No debate.
Any other.
No debate. No debate. He's got to win tomorrow night, and then Jones has to beat Glover Teixeira, and that fight will happen.
But if Manuel won, there might be a chance for Daniel or not?
I don't know. I don't know. We'll see how it plays out.
And if Teixeira wins, then it's Teixeira and Gustafsson? Gustafsson's getting the fight no matter what?
Am I making fights that didn't even happen?
I mean, but we all know that the Jones and Gustafsson rematch was the one that everybody was hinging on them winning, and if something crazy happened with Jones and he didn't win, you're saying...
But then if Teixeira stubbed his toe, he might not be able to do it, so maybe Cormier would fight.
That's what I meant.
Let's say Cormier gets
There's a million things that could happen.
Gilbert Melendez said that he's going to bring the Diaz brothers on board for his coaching staff for the new season of TUF, so you're going to be spending a lot of time with the Diaz brothers. Is that something that you're looking forward to?
Oh, I can't wait. I can't wait.
But obviously that's
actually, the crazy thing about this thing is I actually like the Diaz brothers. Are they nutty as hell? Yes, they are. I like both of them, and they're fun to watch fight.
Do you have a location yet for the Jill Vanderlei fight? I mean, we know it's May 31st, we know it's Brazil. Do you guys have a city for it?
Working on it.
Working on it? And then secondly, Berlin was announced for the same day, so we know at least 2 different times this year we're going to have 2 events on the same day. So there's trying to kill us. Comes down to.
Yeah.
How many more times is that going to happen?
I don't know.
It's only going to get worse.
I don't know. Hopefully not too much. We didn't know what we were going to do when we launched this thing. We had an idea when it was free. We had people in there poking around and trying it, but then when we went live, I expected there to be more people on Fight Pass when it was free than when we went live, but it was the complete opposite. There's way more people subscribed now than when we were actually free. So it's pretty interesting.
What's the fan reaction been like for the Fight Pass? Has it been positive?
Well, there's people who have it and who are, who are out there experiencing love it, and then you're going to have the people that are surfing because they have to pay $10 more. It's part of the growth of the sport. We added 10 more fights. We're moving into these countries, and like I'm sure you've heard him say this a million times, but what we're doing is we're localizing the sport here in these different countries. Here in England, you're never going to become a mainstream sport if you're on at 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock in the morning. So now we're here in your country, which you guys know you want more live events, on your free TV in prime time, the way that we've done it in the United States. Why hasn't it worked over here? Because we haven't done it the right way. And now we're doing it the right way. We're bringing in Dan Hardy and some of these guys to broadcast the shows here. So when your people, you're going to have the hardcore contingent that's like, where's Rogan and where's Buffer and why is this guy not airing? Why is Ariani not up? You're going to have those guys that are going to do it, but to grow the sport and to make the sport big, listen, you guys don't want to hear a bunch of Americans yapping on your TV. You want to hear it in I know we all speak English, but you guys speak a different English than we speak, okay? That's what you want to hear. You want to hear your people, you want to see your fighters, and fighters from the United States and throughout Europe and the rest of the world like we do, but it's here, it's yours, it's in your time, in your place, and with your people calling the fights.
Could you ever see a future where perhaps there's European rankings or European championships?
We've talked about that a million times, and I would never say never, but I don't like it. I don't like it. I like world rankings. on our thing, we're ranking all the way down to 15 now, you know? We could even rank down to the top 20, but when you start getting into the European stuff, and it's like the European guy that's ranked number 1, 2, 3, it's just, that just gets too confused. It's exactly, exactly.
Is there any time plan for when the first strikes will become available on Fight Pass?
Yeah, so that's a great question. I've been meaning to answer that question too. You know, some people out there, all the shit isn't on here. You know how much time it takes to get all this stuff? And plus, some of this old footage, we have to take things out. There's some things that we can't leave in there. Old sponsors that were on there and things that you can't do it. We can't do it. So some of that stuff needs to be stripped out. We're working on it. The great thing about Fight Pass is it's only going to get better and better and better because more and more content is going to be loaded up on there.
Do you have some kind of estimate of like months?
As soon as possible. I mean, there's literally, as we're standing here talking, there are guys cranking in Los Angeles and Vegas working on that right now as we speak.
Will you always travel?
Yes, I will always travel. That will never, I don't know if I can do every fight, but I'll do as many as I can. I love coming to the fights. I love the weigh-ins. I love the fights, so I'm going to do it as much as I can.
Can you tell me if there's any update on UFC in India? Me being myself a lot of interest in that. I spoke to Forrest Griffin yesterday, and he said that there's a trip planned for him to go out to India in April. Can you give us any update on India?
We're working on all these markets. You know, it's got to start with the talent first. You get in there and you start cultivating the talent, which we've done in Mexico, which we've done in China, and other places. You want to talk about?
Well, you know, you still haven't started on Russia. Poland's still a big market for us. We're in Turkey for the first time, so you know people often talk about this sport as you know, it really was an American sport once. It's taken on Brazil and it's taken on Mexico and Canada, obviously. And the 6.4 billion people in the world is only 233 million in America. There's a pretty big opportunity out there.
Yeah.
Wow.
I think in Manchester, you said Poland is probably in the plans for this year.
Well, it is for this year. 2015, you know, we start to crank for 2015 planning, and it almost seems that every time we put something out there in the plan, there's everybody sort of jumps up in arms about it. I'd actually like to get to a point where we're mapping out the next 18 months, so everybody knows where they are, the fans know what's going to be happening, they know what's going to be happening in the fight week, the sponsors and the commercial partners know what's going to be happening, and I think that's an important thing for us. Poland is absolutely on the map for 2015.
Can you give us an update on Cain Velasquez and how he's doing?
He's doing great. Yeah, he's coming along. As long as everything goes, you know, the way it's going now, he should be back soon.
And you said that you won't go to Mexico without him, is that correct?
I won't go to Mexico without him. That would be stupid.
It's been a couple years since the announcement of the International MMA Federation, and I know there's been some amateur national championships, and the plan is in July there will actually be a worldwide amateur championship. Are you involved in that? Have you been in any discussions about those
Are you working
plans?
with those guys?
It's always an issue for us.
Yeah, you might be seeing it.
How you build this thing with different organisations, but we can't give too much away on that stuff at the moment.
You said a few weeks ago that you were trying to make the fight between Alistair Overeem and JDS, Junior Santos, and you said that basically Overeem was scared of him. Since then, you've announced that JDS is going to be fighting Stipe Miocic. Can you just give us an update on your relationship with Alistair Overeem and when he's going to fight him for the UFC?
As far as I'm concerned, I have a fine relationship with Alistair Overeem. He didn't want that fight, and that's the truth.
He started an injury.
He didn't have that injury when he called Brock Lesnar out. Fucking rib was fine. Hey Brock, I want to fight you. Right? Isn't that what he said? After my rib heals, I'd like to fight Brock Lesnar. Did he say that? He didn't say that, did he? No, he said, I want to fight Brock Lesnar. That's what I want. Come on, Brock, come on out and fight. He didn't say, I'll fight you after my rib heals. It kind of hurts.
Speaking of, what about Brock? He's coming to the end of his WWE contract soon, I believe, after WrestleMania. Have you had a conversation with him about potentially?
I don't think his contract's up for another year.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
We've seen an increasing amount of a large amount of fighters testing positive for marijuana. So Jessica Ai, for example. Is there any plans for maybe altering the rules?
You know, I can't do that. That's the athletic commission. That's up to them. That's the government. They decide that. You know, Jessica Ai in any other state doesn't fail for marijuana. She was like I don't remember what it was now. It's like a .40 or something like that. she was a 0.5.
Yeah, it was
you know, she just barely, or a 0.41 or something ridiculous. You know, in Texas, any other state she doesn't test positive for marijuana. Marijuana is a tricky one right now. It's legal in some states, it's not legal in some states. It's not really a performance-enhancing drug, but they look at it as like a type of painkiller. It's a pain in the ass.
But in situations where the UFC is beholden.
Listen, let me ask you a question. Now the TRT is gone, are you going to start asking me about fucking marijuana now?
I'm going to ask about something.
Oh my God! What else?
I think the only thing, just in closing, you know, once we come out of here tonight, tomorrow night, it's off to Abu Dhabi. People seem to be forgetting. You know, we got Nogueira, Roy Nelson, another European event for European television around the world. So let's not forget the other great fights that are coming as well. So look forward to seeing you tomorrow.
Boom! Shameless plug at the end of this thing.
You watched the China tough finale, Fight Night.
Yep.
It's kind of a zany series, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It was, you know,
it was beyond zany.
The yoga guy who was 0-0 coming in and who wanted to be the best MMA guy. It was kind of, it was a bizarre series.
Interesting and very challenging.
Yeah.
To do that in China, but you know what? We got it done.
It was
the finale was awesome.
Yeah.
Kim was a rock star in that fight, and it all went well.
Can I ask you about Kim? Because not only his performance against John Hathaway, but he's got this attitude now, isn't he? He looks like he's ready for a title challenge.
No, he came out like a man possessed. And like I said, people were talking shit about him. You know, he was boring, he wrestled, this, that. Boy, he wasn't boring last Saturday, was he?
Does he look like a title
He looked awesome.
Does he look like a total
He did that night. Let's see the next fight.
Speaking about tough, there's been a lot of rumours of maybe a England versus Ireland season of tough.
Oh, I like it.
Yeah.
Let's make that happen.
England, Ireland, Scotland and Wales will be better.
Oh, yes. There you go. Let's make that one happen.
Well, let me get back to work then.
Brilliant.
You good? You done with me?
Thank you.
Thank you guys for sticking around. I appreciate it.